Welcome to this comprehensive guide on Form 140, the new quarterly TDS return introduced under the Income Tax Act, 2025. In this presentation, we will understand the transition from Form 26Q to Form 140, its structure, compliance process, timelines, and its impact on corporates and auditors. This slide provides an executive summary of Form 140 and highlights its key purpose, scale, applicability, and objective under the new Income Tax Act, 2025. Form 140 replaces the legacy Form 26Q and is now the mandatory quarterly TDS statement for non-salary payments made to resident deductees. These payments include professional fees, rent, commission, interest, and contractor payments. The scale of this compliance requirement is extremely large, with nearly 50 to 55 lakh original TDS forms historically filed every year in this category. This makes Form 140 one of the most significant compliance returns for businesses and deductors across India. The filing responsibility applies to companies, firms, partnerships, government bodies, and individuals who are required to deduct TDS on specified payments. The primary objective behind introducing Form 140 is to modernize Indian tax compliance through a smart, API-driven, and pre-filled ecosystem under the Income Tax Act, 2025, ensuring greater automation, transparency, and accuracy in tax reporting. The new Income Tax Act, 2025 brings a complete transformation in the TDS reporting structure and compliance terminology. Form 26Q has now been renamed as Form 140 for reporting non-salary TDS transactions. The old Income Tax Act, 1961 framework has been replaced with the updated Income Tax Act, 2025. Rule 31A is now substituted with Rule 219 under the revised compliance structure. The traditional terms assessment year and financial year are now simplified into a single term, tax year. Even the currency representation has been modernized from Rs to the official rupee symbol, rupee. These updates are designed to create a more streamlined, digital, and standardized tax compliance ecosystem. Let's understand the anatomy of Form 140 and the key information required for filing. The first section covers deductor details. This includes the type of deductor, name, address, PAN, TAN, and contact details. A key change is that the earlier token number has been replaced with the return receipt number. The second section contains Challan details. Here, information such as total tax, interest, fee, mode of payment, BSR code, date of deposit, and minor head is captured. Additionally, surcharge and cess are now consolidated under the Challan or book adjustment. The third section focuses on Deductee details. It includes the deductee's PAN, name, section code, amount paid, rate of TDS, and date of payment. It also captures the UIN of Form 121 and certificate number under Section 395. A single unified annexure is filed for all 4 quarters, ensuring complete deductee level reporting in one place. Together, these sections form the structure of Form 140 and help ensure accurate reporting of TDS information. Form 140 introduces several technology-driven improvements that make the TDS filing process smarter, faster, and more accurate. The system now supports automatic pre-filling of deductor details directly from the traces profile, reducing dependency on manual data entry. Information such as name, designation, address, and PAN is now captured in separate structured fields for better validation and data accuracy. The updated form also removes outdated references and unnecessary fields to simplify the filing experience. Real-time file validation utility processing helps identify and correct errors instantly during return preparation. Smart interface features like drop-down menus, date pickers, and checkbox verification further improve usability and compliance accuracy. In addition, Form 140 is designed for smooth integration with ERP systems and government databases through API-enabled architecture. Form 140 filing follows a quarterly compliance schedule under the Income Tax Act, 2025. For Quarter 1, covering April to June, the filing deadline is the 31st of July. For Quarter 2, covering July to September, the due date is the 31st of October. For Quarter 3, from October to December, the return must be submitted by the 31st of January. For Quarter 4, covering January to March, the filing deadline is the 31st of May of the following year. A correction facility is also available, allowing deductors to file correction statements within 2 years from the end of the relevant tax year. Following these timelines is important for maintaining smooth and penalty-free TDS compliance. Filing Form 140 is a structured process that ensures accurate reporting and compliance with TDS regulations. Let's walk through the 6 key steps involved in the filing journey. Step 1. Deduct. Deduct tax at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. Step 2. Deposit. Deposit the deducted tax by the 7th of the following month and maintain the Challan details carefully. Step 3. Prepare. Use Web TDS software to prepare the Form 140 return with the required details. Step 4. Validate. Run the return through the FVU utility to generate a validated .fvu file before submission. Step 5. Submit. Upload the validated file through the Traces portal or submit it at a TIN-FC center to generate the AN. Step 6. Process. After submission, CPC TDS processes Form 140 in accordance with the provisions of the Income Tax Act, 2025. By following this roadmap, organizations can ensure a smooth, accurate, and compliant Form 140 filing process. Now let's look at the key verification areas and statutory risks that every auditor should carefully review while handling Form 140 compliance. First, data integrity check. Auditors must verify that details like name, address, and PAN are properly separated into structured fields and accurately matched with Traces records before submission. Second, Challan verification. Challan details and book adjustment data should reconcile correctly with bank records. Important fields such as BSR codes, deposit dates, and minor heads must be checked carefully. Third, correction management. Any correction statement must be filed within the prescribed 2-year timeline from the end of the relevant tax year. After this period, corrections are generally not allowed. And fourth, statutory risk. Delayed filing may attract late fees under Section 427, along with additional penalties under Sections 461 and 465(2)(g) of the Income Tax Act, 2025. A strong audit review process helps organizations maintain compliance accuracy, reduce reporting risks, and avoid statutory penalties. Before filing a TDS return, it is important to identify and correct any defaults that may lead to penalties, interest, or filing issues. TDS Advanced Default Predictor, or ADP, by WebTel helps organizations detect such defaults in advance, ensuring accurate and compliant TDS filing. Now, let's look at the reports generated by TDS ADP. Invalid PANs identifies Deductee records with invalid or incorrect PAN details. Unmatched Challans detects Challans that do not match with NSDL or Traces data. Short deduction due to invalid PANs flags cases where lower TDS has been deducted because of PAN-related issues. Late filing fee calculates the applicable fee under Section 234E for delayed filing of TDS or TCS returns. Delay in deposit computes interest arising from delays in depositing TDS challans. Delay in deduction calculates interest on TDS amounts deducted after the prescribed timeline. Short deduction for other reasons captures short deduction defaults caused by factors other than invalid PANs. With these detailed reports, TDS ADP helps users identify issues early, take corrective action, and file returns with confidence. Let's now explore the corporate perspective behind efficient Form 140 compliance and its impact on business operations. First, API and ERP efficiency. Traces API integration helps reduce manual intervention and improves processing accuracy. Automated data population minimizes manual entry efforts and saves operational time. Organizations should also update ERP systems for the latest tax year logic and proper rupee symbol integration across all modules. Second, vendor relations. Accurate and timely filing ensures smooth TDS credit flow to deductees. It also helps reduce vendor grievances, reconciliation issues, and follow-up efforts. Consistent compliance further strengthens vendor confidence and maintains a reliable governance track record. Third, downstream governance. Form 131 should be issued within 15 days from each Form 140 due date. Timely certificate issuance helps prevent deductee escalations and disputes. It also supports seamless IS reflection and smoother ITR credit claims for taxpayers. An efficient compliance framework not only improves operational control but also strengthens corporate governance and stakeholder trust. Once Form 140 is submitted, the post-filing process begins across the entire TDS ecosystem. For the Deductor, the filing generates an Acknowledgement Receipt Number, or AN, confirming successful submission. If any mismatch or incorrect reporting exists, the system may trigger default processing during verification. The file return also enables generation of Form 131 certificates for deductees. For the deductee, the reported TDS information starts reflecting in the Annual Information Statement, commonly known as IS. This helps taxpayers verify their TDS credits and makes the ITR filing process smoother and more accurate. At the CPC TDS level, the return is processed centrally through automated validation checks. The system verifies Challan details, PAN information, and filing accuracy before completing the processing cycle. Based on the results, CPC TDS may issue processing outcomes, corrections, or default notices wherever required. Overall, the post-filing ecosystem ensures proper tax credit flow, transparency in reporting, and efficient compliance management for all stakeholders. Before filing Form 140, it is important to ensure that your systems, data, and processes are fully prepared. This readiness checklist helps organizations complete all key activities before and after filing. Let's start with the pre-filing system updates. Update your ERP logic to align with the provisions of the new Incometax Act, 2025. Review and update all references to the new tax year format across your systems. Ensure the rupee symbol is updated across all applicable modules. And verify that the latest TDS section codes, such as 1001, 1002, and 1003, are properly configured. Moving to the preparation phase. Collect and verify all Challan copies and confirm that TDS certificates are issued within the prescribed timelines. Use Web eTDS software for preparing and filing the return. Validate all Deductee PAN details before submission. And ensure names, addresses, and PAN information are mapped to the correct fields. Finally, the post-filing execution stage. Archive the ARN securely for future reference and record keeping. Regularly monitor traces for any default notices or status updates. And issue Form 131 within 15 days of the applicable due dates. Following this checklist helps ensure a smooth, accurate, and compliant Form 140 filing process. Form 140 is not just a change in nomenclature, it represents a smarter, more automated, and interconnected compliance ecosystem under the Incometax Act, 2025. Organizations that adapt early to this framework will be better prepared for seamless tax governance and efficient compliance management. The first key pillar is Traces API integration. API-driven automation helps reduce manual effort, minimize reporting errors, and streamline the overall filing process. The second pillar is rigorous FVU validation. Every filing should be validated before submission to identify and correct errors prior to CPC TDS processing. And the third pillar is the unified annexure structure. Using a single standardized annexure format across all 4 quarters ensures cleaner data management and consistent Deductee level reporting. Together, these pillars create the foundation for faster processing, improved accuracy, and future-ready tax compliance.